Hello, and welcome to the Mow It Well Show, where we want to help you grow your lawn and landscaping business. And now your host, Alex Wells.
Man, it has been a minute since I sat in this seat and recorded a podcast. Just in case you guys forgot, I'm your host, Alex Wells, aka Mow It Wells, aka Big Mo, aka Mow Lawns, Mow Money. Man, I haven't said that in a long time. I almost forgot the little intro part. I hope that was in the right order. But anyway, let's get into it, man. As you can see by the title of this podcast, Burnout, man. Right now, I am totally burnt out. And I'm going to give you guys the past update, the last 6 months or so of what I've been up to. Been busy with different things, not including a lot of lawn care, landscaping, business-wise. Not including a lot of YouTube either. It's been crazy. I've been, how can I say it? It's been like up and down, like a roller coaster, essentially. Um, and to get into it, we'll just get straight into it, man. First off, I hope everybody's doing well. If you are listening to this episode, man, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you allowing me to. I appreciate you just listening to me, I guess. So let's backtrack about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I recently started therapy, and I want to talk about therapy to lead you to where I'm at right now, and then give you kind of the story of the last 6 months. So there's going to be a little business stuff in this one, but this is more so like an update podcast, and hopefully there'll be more podcasts in the future with business advice, stuff like that. Back to the old Mow It Well show stuff, but this was just sitting on my brain today. I kind of had a rough day, and I thought, man, let's just record a podcast. I haven't done it in a long time, so here we are. So started therapy about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I have come to the realization that it is very hard for me to balance multiple things at once without getting obsessed with one specific thing. In today's session, we really dialed that back to why I do that, and it goes back to my childhood. I was allowed to do whatever I wanted, when I wanted, hardly any supervision, zero repercussions of my actions, and my mind operated off of desire. So whatever I desired to do, that's what I was going to do. And then once that kind of desire went away, I would go on to the next thing I desire. And that has been brought along with me until now. The first probably 5 or 6 years of my business, I was in the field doing it, wearing all the hats. So I had to do that stuff. It wasn't necessarily a desire, but I had to do it, or else I was going to be homeless. My wife would have probably left me. I probably wouldn't have been able to see my kids much. So I had to do those things. I had to work. I had to be out in the field mowing the grass. I had to be sending the invoices. I had to be dealing with the customer complaints. I had to do all those things. So it wasn't necessarily a desire. But once I kind of freed up a lot of that time, hired the general manager, obviously made some extra money on YouTube, which allowed me to kind of do my own thing. Now, the last probably 2 years, I've been operating again off of desire. And whatever that desire is, I go all in on it, and that's what I focus on. And other parts of my life, mostly other businesses and stuff like that, kind of hit the back burner and take a fall. I've definitely put in a little bit of time in the business, nothing too crazy at all. I'd probably say this year I've probably put in no more than 3 or 4 hours a week. And I don't say that to brag at all. I haven't had the desire. It's not something that I think about. It's not something that if we're being just completely transparent, it's not something I really care about right now. And YouTube kind of did that for me because I'm making money on YouTube, so I really don't have to focus on the business because the amount of money I'm making on YouTube is way more than what I'm making on the business. and I ain't even been focusing on YouTube. It's crazy, man. Like, and I just want to talk to you because maybe some of you are like this, and you can know that there is other people out there like this. So I've been focused the last 6 months. I obviously you've probably seen on Instagram or heard, Mac and I talking about it on a live show or something. But I I started a hoop truck. Essentially, it's a basketball goal that folds into the back of a truck that's mounted in the actual truck and then folds out and it allows you to pull up and play basketball anywhere essentially. Started off just doing it as like events, birthday parties, stuff like that. We did a tailgating event last weekend, just different kind of events like that. And then probably about 11 weeks ago, I started a podcast and with the hoop truck. So the whole premise of the podcast is interviewing basketball players, whether in high school, college, pro, or retired, or coaches, and we shoot around and we talk ball, and it's been fun. It's been really fun. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Not making any money. I'm technically, I guess you would say, losing money because I'm not making any money. So I'm putting all this time and effort into recording the podcast and then producing the podcast, uploading the podcast, creating shorts and reels from the podcast to post on Instagram. So a lot of time and effort has been going into this podcast. I would say altogether probably 20 to 30 hours per week. And I'm not making any money. And I know delayed gratification. I totally understand that. Like, put the work in now. It just takes one guest or one clip to really set everything off or whatever. So we just dropped episode 10 last week. And as I'm looking at the numbers, because obviously the Mo It Well show is still up on podcast platforms. So as I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at the Mo It Well show numbers compared to the Hoop Truck podcast numbers. And I was getting way more downloads and listens on the Hoop Truck podcast. I mean, I'm getting way more downloads and listen on the Mo It Well show than I was on the Hoop Truck podcast. And I was wondering, I was like, man, why is that? With the Mo It Well show, it's just me. So nobody else is collaborating on Instagram to share the clip. Nobody's really sharing the clips. It's just mostly people that, I guess, business owners and other lawn care landscape guys who know of me just listen. I mean, the numbers were almost double from the Mo It Well show. And then I was thinking, it got me thinking. I'm like, I wonder if my stuff was actually helping people because mostly I talk about grow your business, don't stay solo, blah blah blah. You know the spiel. You know where I sit on that debate. And in the Hoop Truck podcast, I'm doing the podcast with a guest. So we'll create the short clips, collaborate on Instagram. So the Instagram's getting tons of views, blah, blah, blah. And we hadn't had no huge name guests, nobody that you guys would know. It's mostly local guys that went off to college or went overseas to play pro. And I'm just looking at the numbers. I was like, is this a waste of time? Or am I just wanting it to pop off fast like Mo It Wells did essentially on YouTube? Like, I understand I got lucky. One video, crazy. And then it just snowballed from there. And then, so I'm talking to my therapist today, actually, when I went, and we're talking about these things. And I'm like, man, like, why am I not working on Mo It Wells anymore? Why am I not working on the Mo It Wells show? Why am I not working on my business? I'm just focused on this hoop truck thing. And over the weekend, I was kind of like, man, all right, I got a lot back in because I could kind of see the YouTube money kind of slowly going down every month because I haven't been uploading. I haven't uploaded, I think, since early June. But, the money's still there. It's decent money. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you the amount, but, more than enough to live on for a year per month. You know what I'm saying? Like, so basically, the amount I get per month is basically like working a full-time job, probably a little more. So obviously still making money from my business, but I'm not really focused on growing that. My general manager is handling everything on that side, doing all the estimates. The only thing I do is invoices at the end of the month and payroll once a week. So I'm literally probably putting in less than 40 hours. I'm probably putting in less than 15 per month in that. And I started thinking today, I was like, man, like, I need to start focusing back on growing the business, getting it, growing it slow, getting it to where I eventually want it to be. And I'm talking to my therapist about all this, and I'm like, man, am I complaining? Am I complaining about having all this free time and being able to focus on all these different things and then just quit it and all this? And I was like, that's crazy. You know, people would kill to be in the position I'm in. And here I am complaining about it because I can't figure out how to balance all these different things. And that's when we kind of came to the, talked about the desire that all I did as a child was do what I desired to do. I didn't ever have to do anything difficult. I didn't have to do anything tough like that I didn't want to do. And that now is really showing up in my life right now as a 36-year-old man. So now I'm like, all right, I got to lock in. I got to do things I don't want to do. I got to be more disciplined and figure out what it is that I want to do. Do I want to do the hoop truck? Do I want to do Mow It Wells on YouTube? Do I want to do the Mow It Wells show? You know, I had another podcast idea that Mac and I were talking about the other day, and he was like, bro, whatever you do, even if you aren't going to do that, do not tell anybody, because that's a fantastic idea. So keep that close to the heart or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I definitely won't tell anybody. And I started thinking about it. I was like, man, that podcast would be so fire. So do I want to do that? And I'm like, man, I got all these different things. On top of that, I got 4 kids, a wife. What do I want to do? What is my purpose? What do I ultimately desire? Because I'm like, I got so pissed off today. A lady on Nextdoor, I was going to shoot a Mow It Wells video. I was like, man, I'm gonna try to start shooting a couple more videos, that way that income can stay consistent. I enjoy doing it. I really do enjoy the process of it. And anyway, so I get an email about an abandoned cemetery here in Chattanooga. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll go look at it. Drove over there. It's probably 30 minutes from my shop. Get there. First thing, there's nowhere to park. Literally, it's on like a main busy road. There's nowhere to park. They don't have a parking lot, nothing. Like, it's literally an abandoned cemetery, kind of like in the middle of a neighborhood, but like on a main road. And I look at it, it's not really overgrown at all. Like, you can see every headstone. Like, it's not bad. It does not meet the requirements for me. So at this point, it's like probably 12 o'clock. So I'm like, all right. And for some reason, man, something just clicked, and I got really mad that it didn't work out. I started playing victim, and I just get pissed off. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? What am I gonna do? What is my purpose? What really is my purpose as myself, Alex Wells? Like, what do I want to do? And I started thinking, I'm like, man, I don't know. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did that. I'm doing that. But I'm like, it's like I get to a certain spot, and then I'm like, all right, let's start something new. And then I get that to a certain spot, and it's all right, let's start something new. And then if I get that to a certain spot, all right, let's start something new. And it's like I never really like get it to that part where I think like, all right, yeah, this is great, but let's take it even more. It's like I never take that second step. Like, it took me 6 years in business, in my lawn and landscaping business, Midtown, to be out of the field and not really be hands-on. Now, we're not $1 million company at all, but with YouTube, it's allowed me to not do anything in the business, really, because I'm taking very, very little from the business. Therefore, it doesn't require a lot of my time, because I'm paying somebody else to do what I would do, and still making some money each month from the business, but not what I would need if I didn't have YouTube. So I'm just like, well, all right, what do I want to do? Do I want to take Midtown and grow it to a crazy level, multiple locations, or do I want to stay here in this one location and have 20 guys, have 5 or 6 crews a day? Because I'm of the belief that whatever I lock in on and think about and put my mind to, I'm going to accomplish it. And I hope you are the same. Like, it's almost to a point where it's somewhat delusional, but you got to have a little delusion to be super successful. Like, if people aren't laughing at your ideas and your dreams, then they're not big enough. Like, my stuff, like, I know what I'm capable of. I just know it. Like, I know I'm capable of getting 1 million subscribers on YouTube if I really, really locked in and wanted to do it. But I'm like, now I'm really focused on, with talking with my therapist again, is coming up with what's my purpose? Like, what do I get joy? What brings me joy? What makes me happy? Aside from the family stuff, like my professional life, what makes me happy? And with the hoop truck, I thought that was it, and it still might be. I'm not 100% sure. I do really enjoy shooting the episodes once I'm there, and I don't enjoy the grind of it because it is tough to, schedule guests, find somewhere to shoot because it's 94 degrees out. You got to kind of do it in the shade or you're going to sweat to death. Setting all the cameras up, making sure the mics are working, shooting the podcast, breaking everything down, editing the podcast, editing the video, which is what takes so long is the video because there's multiple camera angles, blase, blase. And I'm like, all right, man, what is my purpose? And I don't have an answer right now. I'm just talking with you guys, because right now I feel burnt out in every aspect of my professional life. And this is like literally right around the time, late August, early September, when guys in the field running their business, maybe you have three or four less guys. You don't have multiple crews. It's just, or maybe you're just solo. Every year I can remember right when it was about to be, a month or two before leaf season, just being like, man, this is terrible. It's hot, 94 every day. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for winter. I'm ready to take my foot off the gas, man. And that's what I'm feeling right now. So a lot of you guys might be feeling the same in your business. And I'm just burnt out on everything that has to do with like my professional career. As far as my job, my businesses, all that, all the podcasts. Because I look at that as like, to me, they're not hobbies. To me, like they have a purpose. Like the purpose of all the podcasts is eventually to be able to get paid off of them and to help people and stuff like that. So it's not just like, I'm not just going to do this for free forever. You know what I'm saying? And does that make me a bad person? I don't know. I really don't care. That's just me. Like, that's just who I am. So I'm in this spot, man, where I'm like, what do I want to do? Like, where do I want to take Midtown? Where do I want to take the podcast? Do I want to continue Hoop Truck? Do I want to continue Midtown? Do I want to just focus on YouTube? Or is there a way for me to spread it out and do all three? And I think there is, but I'm not sure. I honestly truly think that if I really locked in on Hoop Truck and focused in on that and eventually was able to get some NBA guys on, that it could turn into a very lucrative business. But do I want to go through that grind? I busted my ass for so long in my lawn and landscaping business to be able to not have to do that anymore. But like, what they say is like when you reach your goal, you just set another one higher and then another one. It's like when is enough? So it's like, I don't want to become complacent. I probably will never be able to be complacent at all. I just got to figure out that sweet spot and the balance of everything. Like, my balancing out my week, my Monday through Friday, my 8:30 to 4. What does my day look like? What am I spending time on? I know one thing going forward, definitely going to be putting more time into the business for sure, because I don't want it to fold at all, which I don't think it would with the GM, but I want to be involved in it still and still grow it, because right now it's not really growing because he's still running a crew, but also doing all the, a lot of the office stuff too, doing all the estimates. So it really can't grow too much because he's kind of limited on time. So like, imagine you're solo and your schedule's maxed out and you don't have time to go do more estimates, or you don't have time to hire or whatever. You're kind of like stuck in that kind of spot. Yeah, you can raise rates and still make incremental amounts of more money each year, percent here, percent there, but you really can't, get that one contract that's going to propel you to the next level because you're not out there doing the estimates. Like, we're doing zero marketing. We're turning down way more work than we're accepting. Like, we'll probably still get 20. I ain't gonna say 20. Some weeks, man, we're probably averaging about 12 to 15 new customer requests or new client requests per week. So I'm getting like 12 emails per week. I go through them and then I just send him the ones that I think will be a good fit for us to go even look at them. And then after we send out the bids, sometimes he'll go look at them like, no, that ain't gonna be a good fit. Or we'll send the bid out and we're bidding everything high. because we're kind of like turning into like that premium company. So it's like, all right, maybe if I put in 10 to 15 hours a week into the lawn and landscaping business, then we could definitely kind of grow it. Because what would be super nice with that is if I could get it to a point where he's out of the field, like he's no longer in the field, then that's when it grows. That's when you see the big takeoff, because now he's doing estimates. He's handling all the customer complaints and not having to do the physical work. So I kind of have and I'm really just thinking out loud, like this whole podcast kind of for me is just to get my ideas out there onto a podcast, and then maybe hopefully get some feedback from you guys, but also I can re-listen to it and be like, all right, boom, let's do that. Like, all right, let's do this. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know what I want to do, man. I got so many things. I got so many ideas. Um, I've had this new podcast idea, and I'm like, man, you're not even consistent with the Mo Wells show, the one that actually gets listens. Not like Hoop Truck gets listens. Don't get me wrong. Like the most downloads we had on one episode, and downloads and plays are different in the podcast world. Don't ask me. It's just weird. When you follow a podcast and they automatically download to your phone, that's a download. But you can still go listen to a podcast, but it won't count as a download. It just counts as a play. So it's kind of weird how it works. But for reference, the most we've gotten on the Mo Wells show, the most downloads was like 55. And I think that episode got over like 1,000 plays. Or 500 plays, excuse me. And the most we got on the Hoop Truck podcast was 33. So, and I think that was like episode 3 or something. So we're 10 episodes in on the Hoop Truck, and I think we got total for Mo Wells show that I've done total is probably like 15, but they're not all out there still because some of them got deleted when I turned it off, and then I couldn't recover them. So I think there's like 6 to 8 still out there that you can listen to, and they still get plays and downloads every week, which is crazy because I haven't posted one in forever. So I'm just thinking, like, what do I want to do? I feel like I'm gonna, if I do more Mo Wells show podcast stuff like that, I'm gonna help more people, which is cool. Like, yeah, that's a good feeling. Like, I'm gonna help guys, avoid mistakes I made. Maybe tell them some stuff they don't want to hear, because we all think we know it all. Just put it in perspective, because a lot of the other podcasts are more so starting a business and kind of getting to that first guy, and I feel like mine's like, no, let's dig a little deeper, let's go a little further, let's get to that second crew, let's get out of the field. Obviously Mike Andrews talks about that, but I think I just bring a different energy to the game, man, and hopefully, like I said, give me some feedback. Let me know, should I still keep doing the Mo Wells show? Should I maybe go to every other week, or maybe a once a month episode, or two or three a month, or I don't know if I could commit to weekly. I would love to. I really, really want to do this new podcast, like so bad. And it would actually involve guests on each show, which is dope. Because the Mo Wells show, I still have not, we had one guest on, and that episode's deleted, I think. So we've not had a guest on. I need to get Mac on here, man. Golly. Like, I swear, if Mac was local to me or I was local to him and I would 1,000% have a podcast together. Not that being local doesn't, that you have to be local to have a podcast, because you don't. But it's just something about being in person, man. It makes it way better. Like talking through a screen, I don't like that. But anyway, and I'm still debating on Equip. Am I going to go to Equip? I don't know, man. Let me know. Should I go? Shoot me a DM. Let me know. Should I go to the Equip Expo? I want to. I got my ticket. I bought my ticket a long time ago. I used my boy Mac's code. Mac, what is the code? Mac 50, or I don't even know what it is. But you can use his code and get 50% off, whatever. But, I'm still debating on whether or not I should go. Like, if I do go, most of the time, really, to be honest, I'm going just to hang out with the homies, man. Hang out with my friends. Like, see you guys. I don't go for the equipment. I could care less about that shit. It's cool. It's cool to go look at some. I didn't test drive. I didn't do nothing with a machine last year. Not one machine. Literally did not touch one machine. I think I stood on a mower on the inside part of it, but I really went to network with you guys, and then also network with the companies that are, you know, putting the show on or whatever. You know, your Skags, your Echoes, and all those people trying to, you know, work out some deals, man. You know, hustling. But really, I just went to hang out, man. That's really what I did. And a lot of you do too, probably. But you know, everybody tries to disguise it as, oh, we're just, you know, we're going to the Equip Expo for the equipment. Man, you ain't going there for that shit. You ain't gonna buy nothing. Come on now, let's keep it real. Can we keep it real here? Can we keep it 100? Sorry, I had to get a little sip of my Diet Pepsi. But anyway, man, so that's kind of where I'm at, boys and girls. You know, shout out to my boy Marcus Tate Seeds Landscape, and I think that's his Instagram handle. I hope I didn't butcher it. Man, I don't ever get on the Mow It Well Show Instagram anymore, but every time I check it, literally every time, there's a DM from him, a new one, and just motivational stuff. And I stopped watching it because it was making me want to get back in the game again, man. Because like the shit he sends, it gets me fired up. And then like, you know, I still talk to Mac. I try to talk to him, you know, once a week, once every other week or something like that. But man, when I talk to him, it gets me fired up. I'm like, fuck, man, I want to get back into the podcast. Like, I want to do it, but I don't know, man. I'm burnt out. I really truly do need to figure out like a purpose in my professional life. Like, obviously, my purpose with my family is to be present, spend time, um, be there as much as I can, teach my kids, you know, raise them correctly, get them a head start, the head start that I didn't have. They're going to be light years ahead of where I was, you know, finishing up high school and stuff with just the knowledge that they're going to get. And what's crazy, man, the other day, I got a 4-year-old daughter, and my wife was like, do you know what mommy does for work? And she was like, no. And she was like, I'm a nurse. And she didn't believe her. She was like, you're not a nurse. She was like, yes, I am. I'm a nurse. And, you know, because obviously she's 4. She thinks a nurse is like a doctor. That kind of nurse, which my wife is a nurse, registered nurse, and is now going back to school to get her NP, nurse practitioner's license. But she works for an insurance company, so she stays at home and works on the computer. Like, easy stuff. And then she was like, do you know what daddy does? And she goes, daddy does a podcast. And she, like, so anytime we're in the car, I'm always listening to different podcasts. And she hears that word podcast. She was like, daddy, are they talking about you? I just thought that was hilarious. So the fact that she thinks like that my job is being a podcaster is hilarious. But she knows that on YouTube, she's like, you know, daddy does YouTube, Mow It Wells. She knows me by Mow It Wells. She knows about the hoop truck. She's very, very intelligent before, but it was just funny talking about the podcast. But anyway, so like my purpose in my at home life is clear to me, you know. And then I'm like, well, you know, how could I help my at home life, my personal life with my professional? And obviously money can do that. You know, we could get some land, or we could get a bigger house with a swimming pool, or, you know, we don't need any new cars or anything like that, but there's things we could do if I lock in on the professional side that would benefit us on the personal side. And I go back and forth, man. Like I said, I truly believe whatever I want to do, like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take it to where I want to take it to, and there's nobody or nothing that can stop me. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to be the best at any certain thing that I'm wanting to pursue, but I'm going to be able to monetize it, make the amount of money that I want to make, or more, you know, whatever, like literally whatever I desire. Like if I want a $10 million business, I literally truly believe I could grow a $10 million landscaping business, lawn and landscaping business. There's literally not a doubt in my mind, because I know how to do it. Like, and if I don't know, if I get stuck, I'm going to find the answer. Like, there's no excuse to be stuck where you're at right now. Like, if you literally wrote down, say you're solo. This is a good drill right here. You're solo, you want to grow, write down all your excuses. Because that's what they are. They're excuses. There's nothing that you write down Make a list, 10 things, 20 things, 50 things. Every single one of those, if we had a conversation, I would be able to tell you how it's an excuse. 100%. Same with everything in life. Like, it's just excuses because sometimes we just are complacent and we don't want to work harder, or we don't want to get out of our comfort zone. We don't want to hire that guy. We don't want to delegate this task because, oh, nobody can do it better than me. That's fine. You do it the best, but you're going to be doing that shit the rest of your life. You think you can mow the best stripes? That is great. I'm without a doubt, I can mow better stripes than anybody that works for my company, that works with me, any of my team members. I know for a fact I can mow stripes better than them. What good does that do if I'm out of the field? Does me being able to mow better stripes than them help the business grow? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The one thing it can do is show them how to do it, and maybe they can be as good or better one day. But it does nothing. Like, there's not a task in your business that you can't delegate or hire out, even if you're better than that person at that task, that once you hire that task out or delegate that task, it's going to help you grow your business 100%. So we just got a whole bunch of excuses, and I make excuses every day. And I know I do, because no matter what it is I want to do, I'm like, well, I can't do that because of this. And I'm like, excuse. And that's what makes it so tough, because I know I'm making an excuse. But anyway, getting a little ranting a little bit here. I'm about to hop off here, man. I appreciate you guys listening. We're about 30 minutes in, something like that. I'm going to edit this up and I'm dropping it right now. It's Tuesday the 3rd. So give me some feedback. Shoot me a DM on, I think it's just Mow It Well Show, I think, on Instagram. Shoot me a DM on there with any feedback you have from this episode, or any of the kind of the questions I asked, or anything like that, man. Just shoot me a DM. Let me know what you think I should do. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. I'm going to try to clip some of this up, post it on Instagram. But other than that, man, y'all grind it out, man. Finish the season strong. Only got a couple more, September 3rd, so we got a month and 2 weeks before Equip. So I got to start making some decisions here. Let me know if you think I should go. Should I go to the Equip Expo? Let me know down below in the comments. Should I go to the Equip Expo? You guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Mow It Well Show. Man, you know what it is, man. Go out there and get that money. Mow lawns. Mow money.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of
later.
the Mow It Well Show. And don't forget to spread the love by sharing the show with a friend or featuring it on your Instagram stories. Until next time, keep grinding.